The Echoes of the Gallows, a Whaley House chronicle. The Whaley House in Sandiego does not just sit upon the earth, it sits upon a grave. Before the bricks were laid and the fine Victorian furnishings arrived, the ground was stained by the crude, splintered wood of public gallows. Here, in the heart of Old Town, the barrier between the living and the damned is thin, so thin it has practically dissolved. His feet, too long for the shallow pit, dragged across the earth. He did not die instantly. He dangled, strangled by his own weight, kicking at the dirt that would eventually become the foundation of Thomas Whaley's pride and joy. When Whaley built his home in 1857, he ignored the whispers of the townspeople. He believed a grand house could erase a dark history. He was wrong. The first signs were subtle. A misplaced item, the scent of expensive cigar smoke when none had been lit. Then came the sounds. At night, when the floorboards should have been silent, a heavy, rhythmic thud, drag. Thud, drag, echoed through the hallway. It was the sound of a man with heavy boots, his gait uneven and laboured. Residents and visitors alike would freeze, watching the door handle to the parlour turn slowly, though no one stood on the other side. Yankee Jim had returned to his place of execution, and he had no intention of leaving. The weeping matriarch, Anna Whaley, Thomas's wife, had loved this house once, but tragedy has a way of anchoring a soul to a place. After the death of their young son, Thomas Jr., the house became a tomb of grief. Even decades later, visitors often report the sensation of a cold, sorrowful presence near the nursery. A woman in a long, dark silk dress is frequently seen drifting through the parlour, her head bowed in perpetual mourning. She is the shadow of a woman who lost too much, still pacing the rooms, searching for a child who has been gone for over a century. The Hound of Hades. Even the Whaley family pet remains on guard. A large, dark-furred dog, its eyes glowing with an unnatural pale light, is often seen darting across the periphery of one's vision. Those who encounter it describe the sound of claws clicking rapidly on the wood, followed by a sudden icy chill that grips the chest. It does not bark, it simply watches, a spectral sentinel keeping watch over a family that is no longer there, bound to the property by the same dark energy that claimed its masters. The Eternal Inquest. The horror of the Whaley House is not in a single ghost, but in the stagnation of time. To walk into the home is to step into a perpetual, suffocating loop of the 19th century. Paranoid investigators have captured EVPs, electronic voice phenomena, of voices demanding to know why they are being held captive. The house refuses to let go of its inhabitants. Whether it is the heavy footsteps of the hanged thief, the weeping of a broken mother, or the watchful gaze of the spectral hound, the Whaley House remains a place where the past is not dead. It is merely waiting for the next visitor to join the cycle. The Gatekeeper of Old Town, an immersive night at the Whaley House. The Gatekeeper of Old Town, an immersive night at the Whaley House. The Prelude, standing on a grave. Most people visit Old Town Sandiego for tacos and the sunlight. But those who know the truth
come after the sun dips below the horizon, when the shadows in the Whaley House stretch into shapes that shouldn't exist. You aren't just walking into a museum, you are walking into a federal certified paranormal epicenter. You are walking onto the spot where the ground literally drinks the echoes of the dead. The Midnight Investigation. The air inside the Whaley House is thick. It feels heavy, like breathing through wet wool. Even on the hottest Sandiego nights, the foyer remains unnaturally, bone-chillingly cold. The spirits here, specifically Yankee Jim Robinson, are known to feed off the energy of modern electronics. He didn't die with dignity. He died in the mud, strangled by a rope that was too short, his feet scraping against the very earth this house now occupies. Listen closely. If you stand in the courtroom long enough, you won't just hear the settling of the house, you will hear the thud drag. It is the rhythmic, agonizing sound of a man trying to find his footing while his neck is snapped. Thud. The heavy boot hits the floor. Drag. The dead weight of a man who hasn't been allowed to rest in over 170 years. Walk toward the parlor, and the atmosphere shifts from aggressive to deeply, profoundly sad. You might catch a scent, a faint, lingering smell of heavy lavender perfume and old, decaying silk. This is Anna Whaley. Visitors have reported being pushed by an invisible hand, not out of malice, but out of a desperate need to clear the path. She is still protecting her children, still pacing the rooms, still checking the nursery for the boy she lost. The hound of the abyss. But the most terrifying encounter isn't human. It's the dog. Witnesses have described a large, spectral hound appearing in the corner of their eyes, a creature with fur that seems to absorb the light around it. It doesn't move like a physical animal. It flickers like a faulty light bulb. When it appears, the temperature drops so sharply that your breath will mist in front of your face. It is the guardian of the gallows, a beast that seems to exist to ensure that nothing and the warning. If you decide to film here, take this warning. The camera doesn't lie, but it might trap more than you intended. Investigators have captured shadow figures standing behind guests in their footage. Figures that were there when the shutter clicked. The Whaley House isn't a place of